In this video, we'll build a voice calling app using ZEGOCLOUD SDK. And this SDK will make the integration of this feature a lot easy with very few lines of code, because ZEGOCLOUD comes with a lot of APIs that we can use to implement communication features in our app, not only voice calling, but also video calling, live streaming, in-app chat, and so on. So let's see the app. So here's the app, and since we want to make a voice call, then we must have the app in two devices. So here I have this Pixel 8 and then a Pixel 7. Now none of the users is logged in, so we'll try to log in with a username. So here in the Pixel 7, let's say 1. So this is the first user, and they can click on log in. Now it says hello 1, enter a username to call. So now we are logged in with the first user. We can then go to the Pixel 8 and try logging in with, let's say, 2. This is now the second user. We log in, and yes, we are logged in. Now we just want to enter a username to call, let's say 1, which is the other user. After that, we click on this check mark to actually confirm that this is the user we want, and then immediately we get this icon to call them. So once we click on that, it starts actually calling. If we go to the Pixel 7, you can see we get a notification here that says 2 is calling. When we click on that, as you can see, here is the call screen, and it actually works. You can hear everything. You can mute the microphone. You can go for speaker, whatever this is called. You can hang up the call, and that is the same. So here I am now in the Pixel 7. Let me call 2, which is the other user, and the Pixel 8. I confirm, and then I call. Let's go there to the Pixel 8. We get this notification again. I accept the call, and it's the exact same thing. I can always hang up, and it just works good as it should be. This would really be good if you want to build a social networking app in which you want to have voice calling feature, or some sort of e-commerce app in which you want customers to be able to call sellers to get support or so, because building voice calling on your own is so much complex, and here you can just build it with very few lines of code and so easily. Of course, you can also customize all of this UI if you want to build your own UI. This is just a built-in UI, but you can definitely customize it. Now let's check actually ZEGOCLOUD. So here is the website of the SDK we'll be using. First of all, you need to create an account. So probably you will get a sign up screen here because I already created an account. You want to click on that, and then you will just enter your name and email. So easy to create an account. You'll then get right here, so you get a screen like this. You want to enter a company name that we don't have, something like freelancers, since I don't have a company website. I don't also have that. Job title could be individual developer or student, depends on what you are. Industry here could be communications, education, whatever. Let's go for IT, technology and services for me. And then you want to enter a phone number like this, and then you just enter that. Go to dashboard, and that's it. Now you created an account. As you can see, you get 10,000 minutes for free that you can use for your communication features, like video calling specifically. And here I haven't used any minutes, so you get a lot of minutes to use. Now what we want to do is create a new project for our app, and as you can see, you get a lot of things: voice and video calling, live streaming, live audio, in-app chat, so many things. It all covers everything that you would need. So here we want to choose voice and video call, click next, and we get two things, which are UI kits that comes with pre-built UI and makes things very easy, which is actually what we are going to use. And also you get SDKs in here in which you have the power to actually customize everything. So if you want full customization, which is something you might want, you might want to change the UI the way that fits your app. In our case, we just want to go for this one, and let's enter a name. Let's say, for example, voice calling app, and it should be like this. We shouldn't have empty spaces. So we want to start with the UI kits. Wait for it to create the project. And while the project is being created, I want to tell you that if you want to build a large-scale Android industry-level app, then check my premium course in the description that will make you exactly do that, and even building a Ktor backend from the ground up. And you will use all the industry skills like in architecture, Jetpack Compose, dependency injection, and so on. So the app will be testable, flexible, and maintainable. And you will learn to do all of that with high-quality videos to take your skills to the next level. If you are interested, you can find the link in the description. Let's go and check the UI kits documentation. So I will leave links to all these stuff in the description. How you want to go to UI kits, call kit to get to the documentation, and here is our documentation. Now we want to go for quick start with call invitations, since we want to send an invitation that we want to call just like this. And here you want to add some stuff to your Gradle files. By the way, the project is also created. We want to choose Underwood. Wait for it. So here it is. We have some stuff to actually configure in here. For example, we don't want face beautification. We do want this call invitation. You can also opt for group call if you want. In our case, we only want one-on-one call, and that's that. We want to click on save and start integration, or to integrate. Right here you get an app ID in an app sign, and don't show these to anyone. Don't push them to Git. No one should see your app ID in app sign or they will use them. So these are the two that you need to actually get everything working. Now let's go back to the documentation where we need to add this stuff into our Gradle files. So we want to go here, and then let's start from settings.gradle, where we want to add these two lines right here. So these are not in Kotlin, but my Gradle is in Kotlin, so I'm just going to paste the Kotlin version. So these lines are just these, but in Kotlin. Sync the project now, and let's go back, or let's go now for build.gradle, the app module one. You can just now copy this library and then paste it. But since we use version catalog, let's do that in our version catalog. So for our case, this is going to be the version, and then let's just update this. And then here is library, ZEGOCloud call, and you can sync. That's all you need. However, to actually be able to launch that fragment in our activity, which is the calling fragment that we have, we need a different theme. So everything will be the same. So we just want to go to theme here, and then we want to use this new theme, just like this. But we get an error because probably we need to add the library for it as well. So let's go back to our build.gradle, and I actually didn't add ZEGOCloud in here. What we need is app compat. So go back to our version catalog, and then here it is. We also need the version, just like this. Now you can sync. Let's go back here and add those two because we didn't add them. So it's going to be implementation libs.underwithx.app compat. And then the second one is going to be libs.zego.uikit.call. Sync the project, and now we should be able to get the theme, or to have the theme. That's it. You see now we have the theme. Should go to our main activity to start working from there. And again, the first only change we need in this activity is that we need to launch a fragment. So this should be a fragment activity instead of a component activity. But in the end, fragment activity extends component activity, which means it's just the same thing. But here we can also launch fragments inside it. We can delete this creating composable, and then here as well. So the app, let's check it before actually logging in. So let's just relaunch it. If you want to keep a username in shared preferences to always keep them logged in, you can do that. It all depends on your app and how it should work. But here is what we need first. So we have the login screen and then the logged in screen, or home screen, you could say. So we will need two states for that. You can definitely also create a view model for this. So I'm just going to show you how to make actually calls and call users, make users log in and all that stuff. But the rest really depends on your app. So how your app works. So we need now a var, probably a private var username that is logged in. That is by mutable state of empty string. Import again, and then duplicate this for is logged in, which is now going to be false because at first we're not logged in. And then we want to go here. We can actually keep this scaffold even though we don't know it. So we're just going to write if is logged in. We're going to show a screen, else another screen, and we just put everything inside the box to for the padding. So modifier.padding is going to be this inner padding because we are in a scaffold. So if we have a top bar or so, the top bar will take some space, and so we can get back that space from this padding so that we can push our content by that space, either from the bottom if we have a bottom bar, or from the top if we have a top bar. So here we want to call calling screen since we are logged in, and here we want to call login screen since we are not logged in. And let me just create them down here. So the first one is a composable login screen, and then duplicate this for the second one that is actually login screen. The first one is calling screen. So just like this, this is how this should look like. So inside the first one, which is the login screen, what do we have? We have a column for this text, the text field, and then a button to log in. It's going to be a column that takes a modifier dot fill max size, and then horizontal alignment is going to be alignment.center horizontally, and vertical arrangement.center. So we have everything centered out. We want to have a text first that says please log in, and let's just skip it as it is. We don't have to change anything. We want to go for a spacer that has a height, let's say 40.dp. Import dp, and then we want to go for an outlined, probably text field, the value, and want to exchange. So the value is going to be my username, and then one value change is going to be username is equal to it, which is the new value of the outline text field. And then we want to go for another spacer right here and a button, but this button should be shown only if the username dot is not blank, because if I don't have a username, then I should not show them the button to log in, because there is no username to log in with. However, when I click on the button, I should call some function called login that will make me just log in, and then the text here should just say login. Now this function login, let's create it, for example, all the way down here. So let's create it at the bottom, private fun login. Now let's check the documentation to see how to log in. As you can see, we first have a permission to actually accept, because I didn't show you that, but let's say I actually uninstall the app and then I run it again. So the app is first launched, and then I try to log in with any username like this. As you can see, I need to accept this permission, which is display over other apps. If we need to actually show the call invitation even if the app is not launched, so we can just allow that and then go ahead and allow it in our settings. Now we are logged in. Let's now do that right here. If we check the documentation, we see that we have this permission, and since this is not in Kotlin, I'm just going to paste to you the Kotlin version of this code. So just like this, it's called private fun permission like this. So we need this permission to show the call invitation in offline, so if the app is offline, so if it's not launched. And then if we go down here, we can see that we have now to enter some stuff like the username, the user ID, and then make the user log in with this code in here. So let's go to our login function and then check the version. So build.version.stk, let me just import build is greater or equal than build.versioncodes.tiramisu. So that's the minimum version in which we can show this permission like this, in which we get this lambda function when we actually guarantee that permission. Now we can call the init login, for example, function that will actually initialize and log in the user. Else we can just call that directly. So let's create it, private fun init login function, and it's going to be exactly this code that you see right here. But since this is in Java again, I'm just going to paste the Kotlin version of that. So here it is. We have the username, probably it's spelled like this, username. We have the app ID, which is what I showed you here, that you shouldn't show to anyone. And then the app sign. We have the call invitation config that is needed, and then ZEGOUI pre-built call service.init. And then we pass our application app ID and app sign, user ID and username, and then this call invitation config. And that's it. Now we just want to say is logged in is equal to true, since we are logged in. Now we want to add our app ID and app sign here, so we're going to copy them from here. This is the app ID. We end it with L, since here we need a long and this is an integer. So we end it with an L that says this is a long, and then take the app sign, paste that as well, and you're good to go. The user now is logged in and the SDK is also initialized. And then what we want to do next is, after they log in, we see that here we call the calling screen. So right here, how is it going to look like? Let's check the app. It's going to be simple again. So just log in with any username. As you can see, two texts that says actually the username, and then outline text field to enter some user to call. And then we confirm that when we click on this, we will call them, since now we don't probably have any user under this username. If we click on that, or actually we do in the other device. So let me enter some false username that doesn't exist, like this one, for example. I confirm it and then I call. I should get a toast that says there is no username like this username that you entered. So here, what we want is a colon again, and we can probably just copy that from here to save some time. So common, just like this. Here it should say hello and then username. We want another text after that. Let's also put a spacer between them. Now let's just go for, let's say 12.dp, but here let's say enter a username to call. Then we want to have another spacer again, but then we want right here to have a state of the username we want to call. So var, let's say target is going to be by remember mutable state of an empty string initially, and then another state. So let me just bring this to one line for should we show the call button or not. So it says show call button. By default there's going to be a false, and then we want to have an outlined text field like this. Format this, and then the value is going to be my target username, and then on value change target is going to be it. We can add some sort of label text that says enter a username to call, and then we can add a trailing icon that will make us confirm whether we should call this user or not. So if target, actually target like this, dot is not blank, then we should show this icon, and it's going to be just an icon that has an image vector that says here icons dot default dot check. Here we can just go for null in the content description. However, we need a modifier on it, modifier dot clickable. When we click on it, we should say show call button set that to true. But if we already enter a username and then we click on it, then show call button is true. The thing is that if we just change the username and we click on it, it's still true, and since we are using a fragment, not compose, it won't actually change the username in that fragment. So we need to set it to false and then true again. So if we change the username so that we kind of hide the button and then show it, so in this way, this means that the fragment will have the new fresh username. So this is just a necessary thing to get this working properly. If we want to change the username without fully deleting, so if we fully delete the username and then we enter a new username, we click check, that will be okay. But if we don't, we need to first hide it and then show it again with the new username. So let me just add another spacer there, right here after the outline text field, and in here I'm going to check if show call button. I need an underwood view for this, since this is how this works. And before the factory, let me go for a modifier dot size. So the size of this button is going to be 50.dp, and then we want ZEGOCLOUD send call invitation button it, which is going to be the context. As you can see here, it's not showing its type, but it's context dot apply, and then set is video call, set that to false. If you want it to be a video call, you can just make it true. If you want to have both video call and voice call, you can just duplicate this button twice. Now we would just want voice call, and then the resource ID is going to be, so what we have here in the documentation, we can check that resource ID should be this one, just like this. And then we want to set NVTs as we have it in here, and that is going to be set NVTs. It's going to be list of, so if we have more than just one user, so if we have a group call, then we can set a lot of users here. We want to go for Zego UI kit user, passing the target and then target, so both for username and user ID, and then that's it. Probably we can already run our app to make sure that it's working, and to make sure that it doesn't actually conflict with this one, let me just uninstall it. So I just uninstalled it in both my devices. Let me now run it on the Pixel 8. So I have everything from the user ID and the stuff that I need. Now the app is running. Let me enter a username like OK, for example. Click on login, accept the permission or allow the permission. We are logged in. Now we can select the other device right here, which is the Pixel 7, and run it. It's launching on it. Let me just, how do I check the other phone? So here it is. Now it's running on this phone as well. Let's say now new, whatever, so some new username. Click on login, allow the permission as well, like that, and I'm logged in. Now the username I entered in that other phone was okay. Hopefully I can make a call, but unfortunately I have a little problem. I don't show the check icon, because here it should be is not blank. If I say okay again, yes, now it's showing. So run or click on that check button. I see the username, I click on call, and it's actually calling. I don't know, maybe you can hear this. So it is working. allow the microphone permission. Let's check the other phone. As you can see, I get the invitation, I accept that, I allow that as well here, and the call is being made. And we can check the other phone. Here is the call. Everything is working just great, and I can always hang up, change, or do whatever I want. Right here I can also make a call by calling new, which is the username, but here as well I still have the old code. So let me just say, for example, is not blank. Maybe it will auto update. I don't know if it will. No, it won't. I need to rerun the app on the Google Pixel 8 because I still have the code that doesn't show the check button. Let me just log in again. So I was logged in with OK. Here, let's say new. Click on that. Call. And as you can see, you're getting a sound in here. If we check the other phone, you see now we get this. We accept that. And everything works just great. Also in here we can hang up the call, do whatever we want. And now the app is fully built and fully working. If you are interested in building large-scale apps with Ktor backends, with clean architecture and all the other industry level skills, then check my premium course in the description. That will make you exactly do that and take your skills to the next level in Android development. Also, if you want to support me to make more videos like this, then subscribe and leave a like in this video. See you. Bye.